Hi everybody, my name is Dor Garbash. I'm the head of product for Voltaire, and today I'm going to talk about the path to decentralized governance. So, what is the question that Voltaire is asking? How can the Cardano community govern Cardano in a fair and impactful way? And for this, the decentralized governance body has two main functionalities. One, the ability to modify the protocol. The second one is allocating treasury funds, currently at around $1.5 billion worth of ADA. And, as we tackle these really hard problems, it's good to go back to the source, right? To the man, Voltaire himself, with his quote, "Doubt is an uncomfortable condition, but certainty is a ridiculous one." And while there might be a lot of people who can feel very certain, all right, of which way we should govern, how things should be done, in what way or the other, we all know, or at least any reasonable person knows, that this question of governance has been explored for thousands of years in human civilization, and we haven't quite got to a conclusive answer yet. But what we do is intending to find out what can work best for Cardano. So what are the North Poles? What is driving this whole Voltaire towards accomplishing its goals? So it's all about legitimacy. Okay, if you see in this center of the circle, it's about legitimizing decentralized governance. And in order for something to become legitimate, we're talking about three main principles. Okay, the first one is ROI, and in our case, we like to call ROI return on intention, right? So, are we fulfilling the intention of the community? So are we addressing challenges effectively? Okay, are we making impactful decisions? The second one is user experience. So how does it feel to be part of Cardano governance? How understandable it is? How accessible it is? How engaging it is? So these things determine, how many people participate in governance. What kind of talent are we attracting to our ecosystem? And the third one is, I call it D, it's short for decentralization, which is the question, is control distributed among many? All right, so we believe that driving these three things, the higher we drive these things, the more legitimate is our system, the more successful it is. So when you think about ROI, you think about having the right challenges, the right problems, the right proposals, which means like the right solutions to these problems that we invoked, having a functional, here I say expert layer, it's expert layer and a voter layer, so that generates the right decisions, and in the end, execution. So having the right kind of execution, the right people and the right methods for them to coordinate to excel. And this all leads, not just to treasury ROI, but also to the Cardano ROI. So when we talk about challenges and the certain steps we're taking in order to maximize it. So first of all, we just launched in fund 6 challenge teams, getting compensated $2,500 per team. We just transferred control over challenges to the community. So the community defines and votes which challenge are we trying to resolve through the treasury. We introduced reporting of proposals, like every 2 weeks. We get back what kind of ROI did they produce, transparent and viewable by the community. And of course, we have the Catalyst Circle itself, a group of representatives that over the past 2 months have already identified 16 problems within Catalyst. Then when we talk about the right solutions, okay, we're talking about $100 million in ADA that would incentivize proposals in 2022. We're talking about workshops like Catalyst School or the mini proposal workshop started by TiVo, or the recurring town halls and the after town halls and the swarm sessions that help proposers hone and improve their proposal to be more effective, about introducing methods for forming teams, both in a D-Scale and a project called Pace. You can see a screenshot where people can share their skills and services. We're talking about feedback. Okay, more than almost 15,000 comments have been submitted in a D-Scale to give proposers constructive feedback, how to improve their proposal. And also we're talking about a referral program. So $80,000 this round is given in order to incentivize people to bring talented proposers into the system. So anybody who refers new proposers is eligible for this incentive. Then we're talking about the right decisions. So in 2022, again, if we continue to grow at current rate, there will be $6 million worth of ADA and incentives. We're providing, we as in the entire community ecosystem is providing training and support groups and documentation, as well as tooling to support these layers of experts and community advisors. Such a tool is like Cardano AIM, that basically has enabled community advisors to browse and explore proposals and make good assessments in a kind of like an easy and streamlined way. Then we're also talking about acceleration. Okay, and here I wanted you to invite you to watch another talk in this Voltaire stream by Chris Baird, talking about sparking a movement with Catalyst pioneers. We will make a couple of announcements about acceleration programs we're launching. Then we have UX. So in one hand, we're talking about reducing the perceived cost of participation in governance. This is why we started, now you can only need to register once to participate basically in all governance rounds. Compare that to having to spend like tens, maybe even hundreds of dollars per a single vote in other blockchains such as Ethereum. We're talking about delegation. Soon, everybody would be able to, people who are like maybe at least less engaged with governance can actually just delegate their vote and choose a trusted representative to vote on their behalf. And we're currently working on voting within the wallet, within Daedalus, and providing an API for any other wallet to integrate these functionalities within them. We're also talking about raising the benefit of participating in governance. So again, if during 2022, if we continue to grow at the current pace that we're growing, per 1,000 ADA, so if you're holding 1,000 ADA and you will participate in all our voting rounds, you will get around $4 worth of ADA in rewards. And this is so that means like if it's like 10,000 ADA, it's $40. If it's 100,400 ADA, etc. It's also clear that those who participate make the network stronger, improve the decision-making process. So it's kind of like an internal benefit, knowing that you're contributing and you're bringing value and you're helping to promote your values. And finally, a sense of belonging. So, and I want to talk a bit more about a sense of belonging because this is probably the most powerful motivator of them all. With town halls, swarm sessions, initiatives like Gimbal Labs or IDFest, or our many diverse Discord channels that has, hundreds of people live online. This is not like the absolute number. This is like whoever was online last time I checked. You get a chance for real human connection. The number one thing that people say about their experience in Catalyst and decentralized governance is the amazing humans they meet and connect with. And finally, let's talk about decentralization. So we're currently working on decentralizing the protocol and parameter updates. So there's an entire mechanism that's right now being developed in order to do that. And we're talking about, and by the way, you're invited to watch Kevin Hammond's presentation in the same stream that would go into it in much bigger detail. We're talking about decentralized consent, okay? So the ability for basically the system to ask for permission when we're doing big fundamental changes. For example, voting on the DCF proposal, or we might want to have some sort of kind of a founding document for Cardano, or an agreed set of community values. So these are all consent decisions that will be enabled with Voltaire. Then we're talking about decentralized elections, like getting representatives from voting to the circle, to various other committees and supporting bodies and stewards of the system through a decentralized election system. And lastly, decentralized sense-making, basically the ability to process and understand the vast amount of information out there to understand where we are and where probably we should be going. So just to give you a bit of a bigger look on these things. So this is one level of Zoom, and Kevin will take us to the next level on his other presentation. But, what we have in store is a system that starts with a round of voting within Catalyst, and where people can propose and vote changes in the protocol, updates for protocol parameters, and then a committee elected by the community itself through a decentralized vote submit this proposal on chain, followed by an on-chain and public vote to basically ratify the decision, taking on the Catalyst sidechain, and finally an automatic activation of that proposal, that triggers a protocol update. So when we talk about consent, we're talking about a vote about the DCF proposal. We're talking about an approval of MIR transfers through Catalyst, which basically, not to go too much into the technical details, MIRs are a way to transfer funds from the treasury to those who are eligible for rewards. So basically, the community given explicit consent for using the Catalyst system for transferring these funds, and potentially something like a Cardano constitution. And when we talk about decentralized elections, so we're talking about voting for this on-chain proposal submission committee, electing Catalyst members where appropriate, and electing stewards, okay, people who work for the network, that are accountable to the community, that are paid for their work by a decentralized Cardano treasury. And finally, when we're talking about sense-making, this is probably the most important of all the mechanisms, because in this world of uncertainty, of let's say, from fake news and manipulation, complexity, data overflow. How do we process this information to make good decisions, to have awareness of our environment? And we've built and are continuing to build a stronger and stronger system of decentralized sense-making. Okay, so it starts from the voters themselves, right, that express which proposals they approve or not as a strong signal of what direction we want to take and decide on the challenges. And then we have the challenge teams that are basically responsible to make sense and address the question, are these challenges being solved, right? So they scrutinize reports, they communicate back to the community on the different challenges, and they help facilitate information transfer between proposing teams that are in the same challenge. Then we have community advisors who share their own perspective on proposals and assess them. And this in Fund 6, we had around 711 proposals with, I believe, around 5 unique reviews per proposal accomplished. So this is like an amazing achievement. Then we have validators. So this is something we will launch in the coming months, which is basically an incentivized layer of people who actually validate that proposers are doing the work they're supposed to do, okay, that their reports are true. And then we have the proposers themselves that are experimenting and trying and launching and learning and reporting back. And it all goes back into a dashboard that the community can explore. And finally, the Catalyst Circle, a group of elected representatives that all their job is to talk to their groups and source problems and opportunities, and then coordinate which problems we want to prioritize and communicate and provoke to get solved. So as you see, it's a very rich layer, and it just keeps on growing and growing. So in the end, as we are, facing head-on with those really big problems, really big challenges, I want to welcome you all to the experiment. Things may break, like documentation, differ greatly between iterations, disorient, overload, and inspire. And we're here for you. Our goal is to provide a safe and lively environment for you to explore the highest potential of human collaboration. Good luck.